All right, well, welcome back. This is the third video in my home theater room series. Is this a series now? First, real quick, guys, thank you very much for all of your feedback on my room and the videos. You guys, lots of great comments, lots of great questions. In fact, questions wasn't that long ago that I was asking the questions, scouring the internet trying to find the information on how to build a theater room. How do I do it? Asking guys, where did you get that gear? How did you make this work when you were trying to isolate your room? And like most of us, I was on a budget, so trying to figure out how to do it and make it look like the big theater rooms that we all dream of. And I'm pretty happy with how it came out. And from the sounds of it, you guys are liking it as well, and it's great to hear it. So thank you. So questions that I get on my room, a lot of them are about the screen and what's behind the screen, the speakers, the stage, that kind of setup. And so what I'd like to do is take you downstairs and we'll pull that screen off the wall, and I'll show you a little bit how it's set up behind there and why I did what I did. So let's go check it out. All right, before I take the screen off real quick, I just talk just a little bit more about the screen and what I have. What I got here is a SeymourAV, that's SeymourAV screen. I picked them because the prices are incredible at first. I wanted an acoustically transparent screen because I was going to put the speakers behind the screen. I wanted something that came with, this has a velvet covered frame, so any light that's on the very edge of this won't get reflected back at you, so it'll just kind of disappear into the frame. And there was just a lot of positive feedback when I was doing my research. This screen, this manufacturer came up quite a bit, and I'm still happy with it. The screen's fantastic. It came in a nice big box that was well packaged, and they they know what they're doing. So this screen is, I believe it's the F100. It's a 2.35 to 1 ratio, and in a previous video I talked about that and how on a 16:9 movie you'll still have bars on the side, but when the movie's on, lights are out, you can't see it. It just looks like the screen is just a little bit squattier this way. And then when you go to the 2.35 or 2.4 to 1 scope, I believe they call that ratio, it fills this thing perfect and it looks fantastic. The size is 108.7 inches diagonal, and again, acoustically transparent, and this is good for 4K video. I only have a 1080p projector right now, but I'd like to get a 4K, and I think it's something like it's less than 10 feet before you, or 6 feet or something, before you would even notice the image, the pixels on the screen interacting with the perforation of the screen. My viewing distance, you can't see any of it. This looks fantastic. And because my speakers are behind the screen, I had to build this stage, partly for aesthetics, because just for the looks of it, but I needed to have some place to put the speakers behind. I didn't have the room to have the speakers in front. I wanted a big screen, but I didn't want the speakers covering it, so I needed this acoustically transparent screen for the setup that I had planned. What I have back here is I got the center channel, the right and left, and there's a sub in each corner. So let's take a look at that. All right, I would give it up for my wife and her help. Couldn't have got that off there without her. So the screen is just held on by a cleat style system, just these two brackets up here, and they come with the screen, and they even got a little level that's built into it so you can make sure it's level, and it just hangs on those. This thing is incredibly light. It's just an aluminum frame, and pretty simple. So behind the stage here, you can see the layout of the speakers. The center channel. This probably gets a lot of questions because of the layout from it, and I won't do it any justice about how the benefits of a vertical center channel versus a horizontal. There's a lot of information out there. In fact, the SeymourAV website where I got the screen, they have a whole article that talks about the benefits of putting your center channel like that, and how most of us in our family rooms or living rooms or whatever, we always have the center channel if you have something below the screen, because you can't put it vertically. So it makes sense that we have it horizontal, but when you can, putting it vertical is the better way acoustically. There has to do with some interference with the drivers when you're sitting, you know, when you sit this way and the speaker is that way. I won't do it justice, so you have to go check it out. Like I mentioned before, the room has got Klipsch speakers, Klipsch center channel, the RC64, and then these Klipsch RF-35s for the fronts. And then in the corner, there's a RW-12d in each corner. And that's it for speakers back here. These, gosh, I mean, I could do a whole video on just the sound of Klipsch. Some people like them. Some people say they're a little harsh, and because of these patented horns that they have. If you have power to drive them, they sound way better. And in a previous video I showed you I had that Emotiva amp, so I'm running 200 watts to each of these 3 speakers here, and then the sides, and then the rear 2 back there are running off of the Onkyo receiver. They're getting, you know, maybe 100 watts a piece back there. But so when you run these speakers with some power, they sound a lot better. But I guess that kind of stuff is subjective to the listener. Also behind the speakers here, I've got this 3-inch fiberglass batting. It's meant to deaden the sound a little bit. I don't know if you can tell in here with the microphone. I'm just using a GoPro camera, but with the microphone on there, there's no echo in the video. In other videos I do some videos with my car, and I'm in the garage, and there's no deadening, and it's just the audio is horrible, especially when you're using the microphone on the camera like I am. But in here, there isn't that echo problem, even with this cloth, these fabric wall panels that I had built, again, to help deaden the sound and reduce that echo, reduce that reverberation throughout the room. And for my ears, it sounds great. So having the ability to put this behind your screen, if you've got the room, it's a cheap way to add that acoustic, gosh, I don't even know the word for it. How to deaden the room with just, you know, a big roll of some fiberglass batting. And it's just held in place. I just got some screws with some large flat washers that just hold it against the wall. So let's take a look inside here so you can see behind the stage. Actually, before we look at the stage, here's just the screen laying on the ground, and you can see how it's held on with just some rubber bands through these eyelets that they put in the fabric. So real simple design, real simple frame, and just something that works very well for what it is. Okay, so without the screen on there, you can kind of get an idea of what's behind. In this corner, we've got that one sub, and then in the other corner, the other sub. And the speaker, the center channel speaker, is just sitting on just a wood platform that I made just to get it up so that the screen, the speaker is more centered inside the screen. And I could have done that with these, with this front channel. Maybe I still do it down the road, but for now it's working. And then this batting is just a fiberglass 3-inch thick batting, and it's just mounted to the wall. And really, it's not glamorous back here at all. In fact, you can see the OSB that I built the stage out of. I painted it black because of these front cupboard doors, or whatever you want to call them, on the stage. If any light was going through there, I didn't want the lightness of the wood to shine through, so I just painted it black. I didn't even finish painting the drywall back there. In that first video where I did the start to finish of the room, all of the outlets that I had along there, I've got outlet for Each sub, I've got an outlet for the center channel speaker wire, and the same thing for the right and left. And I even have a network port up here. If we ever needed to add something that needed to be connected to the network, it's an option that's wired in for that. But, oh, and here's the cleats, or the anchor system for the screen. Very simple piece of aluminum, and it's just held up there. And then here's the screen. So pretty simple layout, and pretty simple setup behind the screen. And I've been very, very happy with it. And if anybody were to ask, would I do it again? Absolutely. I like the speakers, I like the setup, and to me, it sounds fantastic. And I'm very happy with it. All right, so that was the tour of behind the screen, behind the scenes, behind the screen. That was dumb. So hopefully that answers some of the questions that I've been getting. It's kind of hard to type everything out. I get a little wordy in my responses and stuff. So hopefully seeing how everything is set up and what I had done helps you guys out in creating your theater room. As always, guys, thank you very much for your feedback. I'm happy to answer more questions. And if there's something else in the room that you want to see a video on, maybe I can go a little more in depth on a certain area, a certain feature. I'd love to do it, and I'd love to put another video for you guys out there. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.